They are afraid of the people. Their fear of Peter Obi, as you can see right now, is not because you, the Obidients, and Peter Obi himself is too kind of like complicated to be rigged out. No. Their worry is that they are failing. You see, they are failing. The Nigerian economy is tanked. And people can see their level of corruption and failure too. So if you now need to rig election again, it may trigger an endless revolution in that place. Something that they possibly have no idea of how to undo that. This is why you, the Obidients, are threats to them right now.
So my people, matters are rising. APC and Tinubu are still receiving Wotowoto from good people of Nigeria as well as Obidients over the statement made by APC National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Felix Morka, that Peter Obi has crossed the line, that he should face any consequences. So they have come out and denied that they never said something like that, and they never threatened Peter Obi, saying that it is a malicious lie. And this was after Atiku came out and said that APC must apologize to Peter Obi and Nigerians because that was a very dangerous threat under Tinubu government, and said that it is Tinubu that has crossed the line by keeping Nigerians in hunger as well as in pain, and which a lot of Nigerians have already confirmed that what Atiku said is nothing but the truth. Look at the level of hunger, look at the level of hardship in Nigeria, and no one is talking about it. All they focus on is what Peter Obi said, saying that Peter Obi is inciting Nigerians. And they know very well that Nigerians believe Peter Obi 100% because if they happen, if they show. Nigerians are facing like the highest level of hardship and hunger. So they know very well that they have already failed. And they are scared of 2027 because all their plans is to manipulate 2027 election again. So they are kind of scared. And this is the reason why they are doing everything possible in order to shut Peter Obi up. And they thought that after 2023, this obedient wave is going to go away. But they are just seeing the opposite. So my people, let me allow you guys so that you can listen and hear everything Mayego said in this particular video. Like he was so blunt. Yes, you guys know Mayego. He always speaks truth to the power. Just take a listen and hear everything that he said in this particular video.
The alarm raised by Peter Obi, which has kind of put a lot of the Obidients on alert, because knowing the history of Tinubu and his politics, there is a chance that a threat against Peter Obi should not be taken with levity. And Peter Obi himself has come out now to confirm that since that time, or since that day, he gave the State of the Nation address and advised Tinubu to tamper justice with mercy, tamper shege with mercy, rather. Shege with mercy. He has been receiving direct threats to himself and his family. The only one that is made public is that one from Felix Morka, the APC, a spokesperson. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the APC, the Akpanyo People's Congress, Al-Qaeda People's Congress themselves also came out to say, come on, man, don't be a snowflake. Nobody is threatening you. We are just replying to your jibe. You called, there's different. They said there's difference between criticizing government or advising government and then inciting people. To them, they believe that Peter Obi's criticism is not criticism. It is not opposition. It is, in fact, an incitement for asking Tinubu to stay back in Nigeria and possibly travel around the states in Nigeria to fill the pulse of the people is ruining. Is considered as an incitement. Peter Obi would sort of lament on how people have been doing everything to avoid him, because himself and the Obidients, they are considered the biggest threats to Tinubu's illegitimate regime. Although they will kind of play it down, usually they will say they have no structure, this or that, but the Obidients and Obi himself remains the biggest threat to Tinubu's political, Tinubu looked like he's got all these ass-lickers around him. You know what I mean? Like people who are like kowtowing to him and the rest of that. But all of these are like substanceless, set of eye service of a thing. Because in the last charade they had, it became obvious that except that Yakubu came to the rescue of Tinubu, by now, Tinubu would have become an internally displaced politician, because you know what would have happened? They would have lost Lagos. Tinubu won't be your president. Majority of those who are miling around him right now, they won't. It would have been forgotten totally. Tinubu and this, political base in Lagos was demystified by disobedience. And it didn't stop there, okay? Majority of the political heavyweights in that contraption got demystified by disobedience until Yakubu came to their rescue last minute. Lagos was supposed to be the traditional base of Tinubu. It was demystified, it was destroyed politically there. He could barely score 150,000 votes. In his own supposed Lagos, Sonweku and the rest of them, they had to kind of employ a warlike tactic, increase their tribal ethnic baiting, hatred, and the rest of this. This is not like a years ago. We are talking about just less than 2 years ago that this happened. Tinubu didn't win any real loyal election anywhere. The very wicked that is now jumping up and down around him today had to actually like kill officers just to make sure that they manage to rig something that he is now using as his own leverage with Tinubu today. So Tinubu's political heavyweight nonsense is only exists in the imagination of his fellow, his his humbled voluntary slaves. Let's just be realistic. Let's be honest. Because the initial thing was that they had no structure, no structures, no structure that. Until when their election results started pouring in, or more, they had to turn off, shut down the website, turn off their IREF, and then they started rolling out their fake figures. So Tinubu's political weight that people tell you about is only only exists in the imagination of his ass lickers. Tinubu can't participate he can't really participate in anything called free and fair election. And APC, generally, they've never had that chance. The only time they had it was in 2015. And they even had to kind of like add an extra rig into it too. So these Obidients were supposed to have vanished by now. But sadly for this APC, they are not. They are not vanishing. Confessor Soyinka, who called them fascist. Fascists are those that we say, except you do things our way. If you don't do things our way, you are considered an enemy. So he called the Obidients the fascists. Meanwhile, the real fascists are the APC, who considered everyone that rejects them as an enemy. And they are not just that, they have become hostile. You understand what that means? Like hostile to anybody or any group of people that rejects Tinubu. They will come for you. If they don't physically attack you, right? Then they will economically come for you, come for your source of livelihood. And this is why the Obidients are the most the most dreaded political group in that contraption today. They are those that they believe Obi inheriting them or following Obi to them is like, a bigger threat, kind of. And every time Peter Obi says something in critiquing this illegitimate regime of Tinubu, they sort of feel automatically like is inciting his base. Maybe it's going to be a matter of time before these Nigerians are going to pounce on them, you know? And that is why when this guy was asked to react, the next thing he did was to actually threaten Obi. It won't be the first time he actually passes, threats, not just to Obi, but even to this Obidients as well. Like I said, politically, they believe that these Obidients are a bigger threat. Because if there's going to be any uprising, the only person who can trigger an uprising in Nigeria is Peter Obi, whether you like it or not. He is the only person who has genuine followers. He's the only guy, after 2 years of election, he is still so relevant enough that they kind of fear what may happen if his base that they love to call the Obidients. They call them different names. They try to demoralize them. They try to gaslight them, blackmail them. And these are the, some of us believe that they are deluded, believing that Nigeria may work or Nigeria can work. And because of that, they say a better Nigeria or a working Nigeria is possible. Peter Obi, sort of a thing. But to some of us, we believe that it's actually a full delusion. But nevertheless, they are just Nigerians who feels like the country should work for everyone. If Nigeria works, it will be to the betterment of everyone. There are those who believe that a good governance is a right rather than living in your own country. And to them, anybody who can give them that good governance, right, will have their support. And they believe Obi will give it to them. So do you understand that what that means is that it is only Peter Obi that actually has the sizable number of loyal followers. The followers that if for any reason Peter Obi happen to be like this APC Ronukus, is the only person who is capable of triggering a revolution in that contraption, whether you like it or not. But some people believe that he won't do it, because if you cycle around the whole thing, you realize that he himself is an elite. He's also part of the system. He has his business in the system. He has his own investment in the system. So, and if anything if Nigeria should go up in smoke, and then the criminal elites in Nigeria are to be chased down, even the like of honest businessman like Peter Obi will not be spared. His own businesses may not even be spared too. So a lot of people believe that sentiment is the reason why Peter Obi can be like the APC. Egbekebe is the most influential politician in Nigeria of today. I'm not talking about tomorrow, but today is the most influential, powerful politician in that contraption. So his position on things actually rattles the people inside the APC. Egbekebe. That's why they are throwing everything at him. Everything they can throw at him. Just maybe one of them will stick somehow. So he didn't say anything wrong. He reacted as he should, like a normal politician, okay, and opposition, by speaking on behalf of those. At least if the Ronukus are not on his side, then what about the Obidients? Everyone exists inside this contraption today, facing the shege that Tinubu is dishing out. Nobody is spared. So if the Ronukus are comfortable, that's fine. But this guy has, millions of those who also look up to him, Abi. So he can speak for them too. And that is what APC, Egbekebe, dreads. So right now, with that direct threat that whatever Obi sees, he should take it, that he has crossed the line. What is crossing the line? Criticizing Tinubu is crossing the line in that contraption. They just haven't figured out what to do to him or how to deal with him, I believe. Meanwhile, the Obidients themselves are waiting. They are like anticipating that we are touching. Even he himself won't be able to hold them back. You know me, I have said this on my own, that anything that will shall cause katakata, destroy everything. I beg, if I dey sleep, wake me up. Because this fraudulent contraption held together by this fraudulent system needs to collapse. You understand? So if you are among those who are praying that things should work, I am not against your prayer, but I just know that your prayer will never be answered because this whole thing needs to collapse. Whatever is going to trigger it, anything that is going to be the ignition that will ignite it, I am up for it. And that's one reason why I do not subscribe to bashing the Obidients on Mayegun's Diary Political, because yes, most of us believe that you, the Obidients, you are completely deluded, hoping that that contraption will work. You are like, it's a total delusion. But your delusion or your delusional belief is kind of like a good one. Because if you keep believing and you keep trying to want to make that contraption work, and they continue to cheat you out of it, maybe one of these days, you are going to agree with us that it is not about your belief. It is how the system is set up to work. So maybe that can trigger something in you, and we can have this revolution finally. So that is why me, I see you as my friends. Not because you want a better Nigeria, because you will never get that. Not because you want a working Nigeria, because that will never happen. But the fact that you want it, all right, and you believe that you can have it. So one of these days, you are going to realize that you will never have it. And then, just by then, you are likely going to then be on our side to get the entire thing shut down. In reaction to this, a lot of people have been reacting, by the way. You know, immediately Peter Obi himself came out and said, it is true. You see this statement of, I have crossed the line many times. What does that even mean? An opposition crossed the line, criticizing the illegitimate regime, destroying the people, destroying the country, telling yourself that you are doing the right thing, even when people are groaning under the economic hardship and the directionless policies you are rolling out, crossing the line, like, don't talk about Tinubu or else we'll deal with you. They are the real fascists. So people have been reacting. The first set of the reactor is this guy who happened to be one of the obedient, leaders, I'd say.
The APC is playing a very dangerous, divisive game in the Nigerian polity, and this will undermine everything that we stand for in our democratic process and also in the rule of law. I'll tell you very clearly that about 500 years before slavery, leaders of thoughts, both in the church and in the mosques, and scientists of, credible people, denigrated, spoke, dehumanized the black people, and it was on the framework of those thoughts and those inscriptions that slavery took place. And I'll tell you, as somebody who has been to Rwanda countless times, if you read through the stories and the history, before the genocide, some people were referred to as cockroaches and trees and all kinds of that. When these rhetorics pervade our civic spaces, you see that danger is right on the way. Prior to the 2023 general election, incidentally, our current president, dialoguing with his people, he said that elections and the processes that will lead to the emergence of a presidency is not just going to be given, that you have to snatch, you have to grab, and you have to run away with it. And you can see through the elections how Obidients were beaten out of polling booths in Lagos. They were shot at in River State. They were killed in Kano. We lost a lot of people because of statements that are made. And to have not just an ordinary Nigerian, but the national publicity secretary of the APC to come on national TV. Felix Morka said directly that Mr. Peter Obi has crossed the line over and over again, and that what they have, when you listen to him very clearly, he said what's coming to him, meaning that affirming what Mr. Peter Obi has consistently said about the threat to his life, his businesses, and his family. He came out on national TV to affirm that. and then retracted back again to lie about it. I mean, why are the APC government behaving like bandits? It's only in Nigeria that bandits will send text to you, tell you that they're coming to kill you
But what Felix is claiming right now is that he's been taken out of context and that he may not have meant entirely, you know, in any way, the way this narrative is being peddled. What's your reaction to that? Do you think he's taken out of context?
You see, yeah, it's important for me to finish my thought on this, because what Mr. Peter Obi did, or what he said, is written. It's actually a written speech that he gave. And I am not making any data up. It is the Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria that said that over 100 million Nigerians can barely eat in a day, that we're going through what you call multi-dimensional poverty by over 150 million people. These were the data that Mr. Peter Obi gave during his briefing. And I have never, home and abroad, I've never seen the opposition leader of any country on the face of the earth come out to advise and admonish and give a clear blueprint and direction to the government of the day to attend to people in a country where during the Christmas season over 100 Nigerians died for just trying to get food. And then you come up to what? To threaten. If telling Mr. Peter Obi that what is coming to you, you should manage it. If that is not a threat, then what is threat? The APC.
You get? Neyo, you see, what maybe it is too blunt to say it is a delusion. All right? Because that's not even too blunt. I have some other harsh words to describe those who believes that Nigeria will work. Let me tell you the playbook or the usual belief of some people. Some people believe that the problem of Nigeria is leadership. Once you elect a good leader, everybody will now follow the... Some believes that once we arrest all the past leaders and put them in jail, everything will be fine in Nigeria. This is delusion. Delusional at the level of a grandeur delusion or something like that. It is high level delusion. We don't have anything in common to call ourselves one Nigeria to start with. Then secondly, the people need to decide to have a country, right? You need the people to decide that they want to be together as a country in what is called the Article of Independence, Article of a Union, whereby every part, every unit or unit part of that country agrees to come together. And coming together to determine the type of government they want, the type of economy they want, and all other foundational, reasons why you want to actually live together. So if you don't have that, you don't have any country. The idea of, see, before APC, Ebekebe, right? Let's give it to those before them. They managed that division so well, right? That some of us grew up believing that Nigeria is a country. But when you look at all of the factors that makes a country, you will realize that ours is in total contrast from one another. Total contrast. We're just meant to believe that we are brothers. Maybe we should just kind of continue like that and see how to make it work. But we have a system where mistrust is the currency that we are spending. We do not trust ourselves. So no matter how much you want to probably think positively of the contraption, it is out of naivety, being naive. And a lot of us are that naive, hoping that it's not hard, it's not difficult. I mean, why can't we just... If everybody has to present their conditions of why they want to be part of Nigeria, you will realize that majority of us will not agree to be together. The only reason why you're having one Nigeria today is because there is a crude oil that they are drilling in a part of Nigeria, which also, although is already losing its value, by the way, so it's a matter of time before everybody will now realize that there is actually no one Nigeria. What you have is many Nigerias. Okay? So, good leader needs a good system. Yes, you might say a good leader will bring, should kind of institute a good system. No. It is the people that will determine what kind of system they want. And in this case, the people doesn't really matter. And when it comes to Nigeria, it is some selected people that decide for all of us. And they believe that they know what we all need. And that's the problem. Nigeria can never work. It is not a cause. It is not. It is a business entity put together to serve the interest of some our people. And if by any reason you find yourself among them, then Nigeria is working for you. If you are, a majority are always outside that. That is why Nigeria is never going to work. Don't be deceived though. The Sharia North, as well as the Middle Belt, they don't have anything in common. The Western region, Yoruba land, and then the Eastern region, Igbo land, we don't have anything in common. Similarly, when you begin to go to all these places, you will realize, but okay, maybe we do have some things in common. That will have to be like ironed out. But we don't speak the same language. Do you understand what that is? If I can't understand what you are saying and you can't understand what I am saying, the chunk of us, then there is going to be room for suspicion, distrust. So why do you want to kind of force it and make it like it doesn't really matter? Let's leave that. Let's just move on. You don't move on if you, Bible even say that can 2 or 3 walk together except they agree? Can they? So that's why Nigeria will never work. Forget about this leadership problem. No. Even if you have somebody that pretended to be like a good leader, you will have to define the good leader. Because in this instance, there are those who are following Tinubu that believes that Tinubu is a good leader. And there's nothing you can say to them. They will tell you that Tinubu is a good leader. There are those who believe that if Bukwari was a good leader, till tomorrow they will tell you Bukwari was a very good leader. This is the definition people give to those who have mounted the position of power in Nigeria. It is always like my turn by turn Nigeria Limited. You know? So let people govern themselves. And even if we have to be together, let people decide that. Give them that chance. I know that's a tough one, but it is possible. It's a tough one if the people understand that this contraption was never put together for them, because it was never put together by them and never for them. So maybe when we get to that majority and we begin to push and we succeeded in breaking up the contraption, right? Maybe it will begin to make sense to a lot of us, especially the educated ones, because we are the ones who seems to be like speaking so much or learning how to speak so much English, but without any real sense. Like in the long run, it's always about English, no sense. We don't have anything in common in that contraption. Don't let anybody say you can even call me names. You can call me any names you want to call me for being that blunt. But the truth here is that we do not have anything in common. No. Let's give thanks to APC, that have decided to expose that, that fault line. Do you get that now? This line that the people before them they managed to blow it out. Okay? Or APC, succeeded in breaking the entire, system, so that everybody knows where they belong to. So what you have left in Nigeria right now is hypocrisy, where people are trying to sound politically correct. The contraption is not working. It will never work. And that's why they will continue to make it a turn-by-turn Nigeria limited. Everybody's going there, get your shot. And once you are getting your own shot at it and you are benefiting from it, then Nigeria is working. Anybody who is complaining that Nigeria is not working for them, that is their own problem. So once you lose your own grip, then Nigeria will not work for you again. This has been the whole, concept of this while. So let the people decide if they want to be together. Let the Yorubas decide. If the majority of Yorubas want one Nigeria, let it be on record that they want it. If the Biafrans want one Nigeria, let it be on record that they want it. If the Arewa North wants one Nigeria, let it be on record that they want it. Not some political class telling us what we want, when in actual fact, it's actually for all of them. Because let's be honest, when this Tinubu and his co-travelers, when they were the oppositions in Nigeria, Jonathan saw, as they are calling for protest, they are paying columnists in Nigerian papers. They are paying columnists in international papers, writing horrible, horrible, horrible things about Nigeria, about Jonathan, about his wife. Almost every week, they are granting press release, press statements. It got so much that you remember Laya Mohammed. Laya Mohammed defended Boko Haram. That was how kind of like active these guys were during Jonathan's time. Remember? Laya Mo defended Boko Haram. Yeah, he said that Jonathan was intending to kill Northerners in the name of looking for Boko Haram. That why can't Jonathan give the Boko Haram amnesty the same way they gave amnesty? It was Laya Mo that said that. To the point that Boko Haram nominated Bokwari as their negotiator. Betty Bagbe. Now don't forget, there was a time that Boko Haram nominated Bokwari to represent them in their talk with Jonathan's government, in that contraption. And I've never seen where they were blamed for crossing the line. Or APC, Ebekebe, they do not want any opposition. If Nigeria cannot become one-party state, then they will unleash their thugs. Remember when this happened in Lagos now? This is a reminder.
Mo sọ fún yín gbogbo ẹni mo fi ń sọ ohun tí àwọn leader wa sọ lókè ni pé Sanwó-Olú ni. And I want to assure you, this place we are not going to allow anybody to vote for Ambode here. We are for Sanwó-Olú, and that's what our leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said. The party, that is the APC. Yes. We have hierarchy, and we have leadership. Yes. We have leaders, yes. And we have been directed by our leaders to go and vote for Sanwó-Olú. Yes. And that's what we are going to do. Yes. This local government, we are not going to allow anybody to vote for Ambode. Yes. Ambode is gone. Ambode is gone. Ambode is gone. And is gone finally. We will allow you to kill both Sanwó-Olú by the party hierarchy. We have been directed party tiwa Bodada ẹgbẹ́ tiwa ani hierarchy, ani àwọn tó ní àṣẹ, ani àwọn tó dẹ́gbẹ́ ilẹ̀. ẹni tí ò bá fẹ́ ibi tí ẹgbẹ́ ń lọ tí ò bá ní lọ bẹ̀ kó lọ dẹ́gbẹ́ mi lẹ̀. He can go and create or register Ambode People's Party. Yes. But our own is APC. Yes. All Progressive Congress. All Progressive Congress is our party. Yes. And the leadership of the party has spoken. Yes. And we cannot change it. Yes. And
that is their way. If you oppose Tinubu, right? Forget about them saying they are progressives or whatever. They are actually progressives. That is their way. If you oppose Tinubu, you are automatically considered enemy. And anything you see, you go collect them or accept it. Anything you see, it has to be forced before it can become theirs. They have to force it. They have to threaten you. They have to do all sorts. There's nothing like persuasion. There's nothing like getting people in a more persuasive way. And no, by force, no. First thing first, they will offer you money. If you are headstrong, you are not taking the money. Then they will force you. If they have to attack you and beat you bloody. That's exactly what they unleashed on the people that rejected them in Lagos in 2023. That is who they are. They do not want, they criticize them, okay? You are criticizing Tinubu. How dare you? You're supposed to just, once you see Tinubu, you raise your two hands, and then you hit the ground with your own foot, right? That is their mode of operation. Modus operandi. If you're asking questions, you are looking for trouble. Because to them, that means you are trying to incite people against them. Asking questions is not acceptable in their group, in their midst. Now they have the power. I know they are telling themselves that Tinubu was able to rig himself in when he wasn't in power. However, he has the control of all the institutions right now. It will be difficult for anybody to get rid of him. But guess what? They are still afraid. They are afraid of the people. Their fear of Peter Obi, as you can see right now, is not because the Obidients and Peter Obi himself is too kind of complicated to be rigged out. No. Their worry is that they are failing. You see, they are failing. The Nigerian economy is tanked. And people can see their level of corruption and failure too. So if you now need to rig election again, it may trigger an endless revolution in that place. Something that they possibly have no idea of how to handle that. This is why the Obidients, are threats to them right now. It is not because they are afraid. It's not because they don't have what it takes to write election results. The problem is, what if this Obi becomes so radical that he's no longer the talking Obi? He's no longer the one that can hold you back when you reject them again, and then they falsify the figure to return Tinubu in 2027, if you make it that far. That is their worry. And that is something that I don't know how they're going to do it. I have no idea. I can tell you this, that it is a bit of a frustration for them because they didn't expect this. They didn't expect him to last this long. They've hijacked his party, the Labour Party. They've hijacked PDP. So where exactly is Peter Obi going to run against them? They have no idea. Now, if he should run against them again, the man they said had no structure, right? So if he should run against them again, and you, the Obidients and other frustrated Nigerians, queue behind them, and you make it difficult for them to rig, and they still rig anyway, and then this led to the breakdown of law and order, that majority of them would have to run away from Nigeria. So this is why they believe that Obi has crossed the line many, many times. To them, he is not just going away. He should have been like gone. After the 2023 charade, as normal, right? It should be gone. Nobody is concerned about whatever Atiku had to say. It is what this Obi had to say. It is just this Obi. Why? Because he is the only potent threat to their state capture. He is the only one they feel like if he should, for any reason, be like them or be half of what they were to Jonathan, or if he should realize his influence for real and he should trigger it, this can set Nigeria up in total, like on fire. So that's why they are working every day, every now and then, to see how much of the mudslinging they can, fling at him and see which of them will stick. And to me, Mayegun, the observer, I am much, much interested, which is like I am investing in you, the Obidients, Obi and others, as the, what you can call the catalysts, the match or the matches that is going to help ignite the fire that APC, Egbekegbe, is trying to cover with their cloth in that contraption today. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. What it means is that there are some of you who still believe that Peter Obi can be president. I'm not saying he can't, because I am not a soothsayer. And you see, that level of conviction is a very powerful one. So the only people who can stop him from being your president is this same Tinubu and his gang, who also believes that they have the power to do and undo, because to them, on the surface, Peter Obi is just a small fry. And the fact that they are seeing him as a small fry on the surface, but they are very worried about the consequences of what can happen if they kind of touch him, makes it more interesting for somebody like me. So then I always feel like, me they touch him. I want to kind of like find out something. Touch him. Oh yeah, touch Peter Obi so that we can see what the Obidients are made of. You get what I mean? So this is why I believe that your belief or your strong conviction somehow that Obi can be president will make you more radical. And being radical in this contraption has its own advantage. The advantage is that, like you saw the last time, you will see them hit you again. So it's now going to be, would you allow it? Even if you want to. People like us will kind of remind you that, again, because except this fraudulent system collapse, it was supposed to have collapsed during the time of Buhari. The likes of Tinubu and co, waiting for their turn, sustained it. Now they have rubbished the entire system, even the country more now, which means any slight mistake right now can spark a bigger problem for them. And I want to see that. Okay? I really want to, because without the entire system burning down, we are all not going anywhere. You see, those of you who wanted a better Nigeria, you're not going to get it through election. So those of us who want the breakup of that contraption, we are never going to get it through protest. So until the entire system is self-destruct, which they are on the verge of doing so, okay? So until the entire system self-destructs, a lot of us will never get what we want. And what do I want? A balkanized Nigeria, where everybody manage their own affairs. Call yourself whatever name you want to call yourselves. So that I and others will not be blaming people who are not of my own region for the reasons why we are all suffering. I've had people who believe that Nigeria is better together, like David Undeyin is, is our guy. He believes that it is in the interest of Nigerians. I don't want to be Nigerian, by the way. And there are many people who don't want to be like Nigerians anymore, right? So David believes that if in this world today, it's better for countries to be as big as Nigeria, because more, what the world is becoming is that the bigger you are, the fearful the rest of the world, or will kind of like treat you. But that is one stupid take, in my own opinion. There are smaller countries with purposes, or with purpose. This big for nothing contraption has no purpose. So if we have to break into pieces, right, to achieve our own goal in life, so be it. So let nobody deceive you that you have to be as big as America, be as big as India or China before you can survive in the world of today. No, we don't have to be. We don't want to buy that anymore. Let everybody go and do themselves. And yes, there are those who want one Nigeria. There are those who don't. I don't. So the only thing that can give us all closure is that let me be able to say, I don't want it. And then you be able to say you want it. Then we count it. For those who want one Nigeria, they can, if they win, then all of us will stay in Nigeria. For those of us who don't want one Nigeria, if we win, then we'll go to our own smaller countries. And we'll still be neighbors as well. So any other explanation about one big for nothing, shared misery, shared poverty, shared terrorism and all this stuff, right? Some of us are not buying that anymore. And thanks to APC, Egbekegbe, for what they have done. If there is anyone who's still kind of thinking that chasing APC, Egbekegbe out of government is the solution to what Nigeria is facing, that means you are not learning. Yes, we do not probably have the controlling number yet. Those of us who want the contraption to break, we may not be having the controlling number yet, but maybe we will someday, So yes, you, the Obidients, this is my hope for you, that you will continue to believe that maybe the contraption will work. Then they will continue to deny you that. So when they've done it once, they will do it again. You have accepted that once, would you accept it again? If they touch Peter Obi, what do you think you can do? And stuff like that. These are like, rhetorical questions that, will be answered very soon. Let me tell you something. The shege you are facing in that contraption today, which is orchestrated by Tinubu and his gang, make them poorer, stifle them of all the economic opportunities, so that whenever election is coming, you can ease it up. They may even reduce your petrol price, your PMS price from 960 or 1,000 naira per liter. They may reduce it to maybe 500 or 400 by the end of 2026 or early 2026, so that it will look as if to say, oh yeah, everything is like coming down now, before they kind of like will nail your coffin finally. These are criminals, economic jackals that should never have touched power, should never have been or have any chance of getting closer to power. Okay? But who knows? Maybe they are just out there to fulfill destiny as well and be the last to keep Nigeria together as one country. Because after them, there probably will be no one Nigeria anymore. Yeah, you see? So that is why you are very formidable, a bigger threat. And if they touch Peter Obi, I would love to see what you're going to do. They would love to see what you want to do as well.
Welcome, sunshine.